organisation that runs athletics to court because it says she must alter her biology if she wants to continue competing. The IAAF wants women with elevated levels of naturally occurring testosterone to take medication to suppress it. But Caster Semenya's lawyers say that it violates her human rights. Our senior correspondent Ian Woods reports.
In a sport plagued by athletes who enhance their performance through drugs, Caster Semenya is being asked to do the opposite. She's been told to medically reduce her natural testosterone levels to give her rivals a chance to beat her. Since 2009, she's won 3 world titles and 2 Olympic golds at 800 metres. But her muscular appearance drew criticism and began a decade of intense scrutiny. Athletics' ruling body says women with differences in sexual development, or DSDs, have an unfair advantage.
The core value for the IAAF is the empowerment of girls and women through athletics. The regulations that we are introducing are there to protect the sanctity of fair and open competition, and that's really what we're here to defend.
But Caster Semenya has huge support in her home country, and there have been accusations of racism in the sport's dealings with her.
Caster continue teaching us that we can overcome adversity, that role models can come in the least expected of places, that through resilience you can be a beacon of hope.
The Court of Arbitration for Sport in Lausanne has been asked to rule on an issue which could have huge implications, including for transgender athletes who've changed their legal status from male to female.
You will have people with testes and high male levels of testosterone competing in the female category, and that will mean that women with ovaries and low levels of testosterone have no chance of winning.
For some, the human rights of athletes trumps sports bodies' desire to make rules.
To ostracise an individual based on high testosterone levels is discrimination on the basis of gender, and I don't believe that it should continue. We have to remember as well, we keep talking about testosterone and hormone, and that is just one aspect that makes us a man or a woman, and it's one aspect that contributes to athletic performance, and sports' continued focus on that is muddying the water when it comes to athletic ability.
But some of the world's best sportsmen and women owe much of their success to advantages in how they were born. Michael Phelps, the greatest ever swimmer with abnormally large hands and feet. Yao Ming's 7'6" tall frame gave him a huge natural advantage in basketball. The court's decision is due at the end of next month. Whatever the outcome, there are bound to be huge repercussions for sports ruling bodies on what constitutes a fair contest. Ian Woods, Sky News.
It's now Dr. Rachel McKinnon, the first trans woman to win a cycling track world title. She joins me from Victoria in Canada. Very good to talk to you, Dr. McKinnon. And so your reaction to this case with the IAAF, they say they're just trying to level up the playing field.
Yeah, good evening, and thank you for having me. There's so much to say here. On the one hand, the IAAF claims that they are trying to empower girls and women, and yet they are singling out one particular woman, Caster Semenya, for discrimination. And there are so many myths around the relationship between endogenous, naturally produced testosterone and performance. And the IAAF's policy is based on very misleading science. The 2017 study that they're basing this new 5 nanomole per liter policy on, if you look at the power events like the 100-meter sprint, the 200-meter sprint, it showed a disadvantage for higher testosterone women. And if you look at the distribution of the advantages and disadvantages with high testosterone for women, it looks like there's no pattern at all. So the science does not support this policy. But moreover, the same study found that there's no relationship at all in men between testosterone and performance. And around 1/6 of elite men track and field athletes are in the female range for testosterone.
Wow. I mean, do you think this case also has implications for transgender athletes like yourself? You'll be aware, I'm sure, of those comments recently by Martina Navratilova, who says athletes like you still have physiological advantages.
Yeah, and early in the segment, it was pointed out that there's no such thing as a level playing field. The entire purpose of training, of having coaches and nutrition and good rest and good equipment, the purpose of that is to unlevel the playing field. And again, one interesting thing about this proposed IAAF policy is to reduce the testosterone limit from 10 nanomoles per liter to 5 nanomoles per liter. But again, about 1/6 of elite men are already below that level, which means these men could compete as women if they went through the necessary gender changes without affecting their endogenous testosterone at all. The relationship between naturally produced testosterone and performance is not what people think it is.
And what about, I mean, have you heard there's suggestions going around that, it could become like Paralympics, many different categories there to try and make sure that like competes with like, that this perhaps could happen instead of just men and women. You've got a category for transgender, you've got a category for people with women with higher naturally occurring testosterone, different categories. Could you see it going that way?
In short, no. On the one hand, we want to be very careful about not relegating an entire group of people, such as trans people, to their own category that inherently treats them as other rather than, trans women are women, trans men are men. For example, myself, I am legally female in Canada and the US and around the world. All my identification, my birth certificate says female on it. So to treat me as a different kind of female or a woman is inherently unjust. But also, like I said, there's no clear relationship between endogenous testosterone performance, even in women, which means you can't just carve up sport categories according to hormones. Also, endogenous testosterone is the only natural physical characteristic for which we deem some athletes, and they are only women, ineligible for competition. There is no upper limit men, but there is for women. And to finish this point, we treat and we celebrate exceptional men, but we treat exceptional women with scrutiny.
Okay, well, fascinating getting your thoughts. Dr. McKinnon, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.